Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in. My name is Kristalos and I am creating this channel to talk about mental health problems such as addiction, specifically to cannabis. I'm going to be talking about traumas, such as past relationship traumas like emotional abuse and other codependencies. I'm just going to be talking about various really personal aspects of my life. I already have it recorded, so those are kind of the topics in this video coming up. I also, for the future of the channel, want to talk about more philosophical topics, more positive topics with life. I just want to make this an accountability channel for my own personal growth, and I hope that if you're watching this, that you get something out of it. If you resonate with anything, that is awesome. That is my goal, to just promote more connections. If you struggle with any of these issues, feel free to comment below and I'm there for you. We're all in this together, and thank you for tuning in. And also, I did want to mention that the beginning of the video is very awkward because I was under the assumption that this was going to be on my main channel, so I was really conflicted with being personal, as you can hear, which is kind of interesting to see my own facades break down, because my family watches my other videos on my other channel. So I just decided to make a new channel and just be as genuine and authentic as I can. So that is just why the intro is really awkward. Thank you. Today it's gonna be a little bit of a different video, honestly a more personal video, because, you know, I just have been looking to make some changes for the better in my life, and I think it's, you know, it's something to be accountable for, you know, by putting this out there. And also, if anyone else is can relate in their own, you know, here, I'm gonna take my headset off. And if anyone else can relate in their own personal journeys, because, you know, we're all trying the best we can, and sometimes things can get a little difficult, and that is part of the process, and that's okay. So I think today I wanted to talk about the changes that I've been making, and why I've decided to make these changes. And I think in that, I guess breaking it down, I want to be more personal on this channel. You know, I want to be more of myself, not kind of put out a front that I think, you know, I've always had a kind of a filter to kind of just be different in front of people. And it stems from social anxiety and, you know, just the pressures we feel as a kid to be a certain way. And I've really been starting to recognize those patterns in myself, and I want to make a change. I want to make a more positive change on how I, you know, how I operate. And I think a good step, more specifically to this channel, is, you know, make more personal videos, because it's what I want to do. I want to connect more with other people, if anyone's listening, and also just, you know, put myself out there. Anyways, breaking apart from all of these segues, I have been struggling with social media, just, you know, weed, and, you know, even if I don't upload this, because I think that my family watches these videos, and so I'll probably make a whole new channel for this, just so it's completely detached from this persona that I have to, that I feel like I should live up to on my channel, because like my little sister leaves comments on my videos, and I can't be talking about problems with weed and stuff. Like, if she's watching the videos, I don't know, I feel like it just kind of like, it's like a side of yourself that it's just other people that are close to you probably shouldn't see it, if they ever see it. So I'm gonna create a new channel for this kind of series, and just be real. I'm not gonna use a webcam. I'm not gonna, I want to foster authenticity, just being real, and that's just what I'm gonna do. So I'm 22 years old. I grew up with a genetic condition which really altered the way I can, just do things. Like, it affects my skin, so I bruise and cut open, scar easy. So it's always altered the way I can do things, like especially for sports and just being like active, and there's always certain things that I could never do that other kids could. And I think that inherently altered the way I perceive myself, especially let me think of words to say this. My own self-worth. I automatically looked at myself as lower than other people because I couldn't do as much as other people could, so I came to the conclusion that I am a lesser person because of that. And I think it's really negatively, obviously impacted my entire life, having those perceptions so early on. But I'm glad I'm able to recognize them like more and more, and I can make changes with those realizations of the way you lived. And it's kind of sad to look back on, but like, I'm not trying to just be doom and gloom here, because it's all in the sake of self-improvement and changing your perspective for the better and just helping people out. And if there's anyone who's gone through something like that, to be specific, what I have is Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Just feel free to comment below, and you can share your experience. I just want to foster more of a community, and I want to move on to like weed addiction, because I think it's something that I'm starting to see more and more people talk about, because I'm kind of coming to terms with the fact that I've been addicted to weed, and it's not something that's easy to come to terms with, especially like I never drank, I never smoked my entire life. The first time I smoked weed was right before my 21st birthday, earlier last year. And the first time I smoked weed, it's like just made me feel this completely different way that I couldn't have imagined, but also like it just felt good, it felt nice. And that's how it gets you. But just moving on from that, just kind of putting more context into this. I guess this is like a therapy video. I'll call it like therapy classic WoW, because I'm gonna get pretty personal, and that's okay. So I was in a relationship. We met when we were 15, And from there, it just kind of took over my life, like this relationship with my ex. And it was like very codependent. It led to, because we were like kids, and it's so like, love is so magical. It's something like just untapped. Like, we were both, I mean, she had a lot of childhood trauma, and she had depression and anxiety, and I kind of, in that, I became the person that didn't have depression and anxiety, and I didn't have trauma. That was the narrative, because her trauma and her anxiety were just so extreme that if I had anything, it's not, it couldn't compare, like, I was a guy, like, I had a, decent childhood. I didn't have, like, SA or anything like that left me with PTSD or anything, but I had my own traumas and my own depressions and anxieties, but I was never able to really, like, think about it much because it was overshadowed by someone else's. And I think in that you kind of lose your sense of self, because you're just part of this like fucked up codependent identity mesh, especially starting when you're 15 years old. It kind of is imprinted on you into your adolescence and into your early adulthood. But we had broken up in November of 2021, so it's like, it's hard to come to terms with, but it's still very recent in the grand scheme of things. And I think I'm really able to start seeing things more clearly, and seeing the progress that I wasn't able to put into myself in those years. And that's kind of tough to come to terms with, especially when you think you've moved on, because I'm in a relationship now, and it's been wonderful. Like, she is just, it's like a love that I always would have wanted, but I wouldn't have been able to think about it because it was just so clouded by the love that I had, because it's so pure and we can both be ourselves and grow, but we're still together, it's not a codependent thing. And that's something I knew, like, I can't ever go back to something like that. But it's tough when you're in this, like, amazing relationship, but you slowly start to get these feelings like, oh, maybe I still have progress to do to move on completely from this past relationship that I didn't think I had to work on. But it's like, you have to. You can't just ignore it. And like, if you ignore it, it makes your state of living worse, especially. And I owe it to my partner now to be the most like, due diligent person to try to, I gotta resolve this stuff. I owe it to myself first most, but I also owe it to my partner. And it's not like the things that I'm trying to resolve, it's not like I'm still, like, I have feelings for her. Like, that ship is long sailed. Like, our relationship, like, I think we lost love for each other like halfway through that 5-year relationship, but we just kept hanging on because that's what you do. That's all you know. Ugh. That's another thing. But it's the things that I'm resolving are my own lack of personal growth. I grew in many ways in that relationship, and kind of maturing my thoughts about being with partners and having a healthy relationship. Like that part, I think I matured a lot. And also, you know, just living together and like living with someone and, you know, just that kind of way of living, like I got that down. Like I have a good sense of how it should go, like healthily. And maybe not. I got a long way to go, but see, like I grew in that area, but I didn't grow in self-actualization, recognizing my traumas and my shitty patterns of behavior. Not because someone else told me, but because I see it in myself. Because maybe I'll title this video like moving on from a emotionally traumatic relationship. But my ex-partner always told me things I did wrong. You know, things that I could do better. Like why we're not happy because I don't get her enough gifts, or I don't give her enough attention. And obviously, looking at it from an objective lens, it's so twisted and toxic. But when you're in it, you just feel like your gut's being pulled. Like, oh, like I'm really disappointing this other human being, and this human being is incredibly upset because of something that I'm doing. And then it's like their emotional state depends on like your emotional state. Like you're not living for yourself anymore. You're living to try to appease somebody else's unstable emotions. And it's really difficult to recognize that. And I think I recognized that very, very shortly after we broke up. Like, just all of these patterns. It's something I saw how toxic it was right off the bat. But it's the repercussions of that toxicity that lingers in your own behaviors far, far later on that you don't notice right away, that are insidious. Like feeling like you need to make other people happy. You know, being a people pleaser. Like I feel like I get anxiety when somebody is upset. Like in relation to anything that I do. If someone feels negative because of something I said, like I feel it. I feel the anxiety about it. And it's something I'm really trying to move on from and disconnect from. Because all it does is it hinders your ability to make your own decisions for yourself and not make decisions for other people. Like, it replaces making decisions for yourself with making decisions because of other people. And all that does is hinder your own progress. So tying all of that back into like the first time I smoked weed, I was able to detach from all of these feelings that I wasn't even aware of, and I'm just starting to realize what I've been detaching from. Like, it was a magical thing that, you know, it doesn't have any detriments. Like, sure, it'll make you a lazy stoner. Like, it's all these little stereotypes and stuff. But I felt like I was really, like, able to explore my mind, you know? Like, I was able to see my consciousness in a different state than I ever thought was possible. And that's a magical thing when you can... like when you can see the blurry boundaries of reality, break down in front of you. because it makes you start to like question things more, and see things differently, and compare how you saw things then to how you see things now, and just create this sense of wonder in the world. Like, wow, like things are crazy. Like being high for the first few months was just magical. Like, I saw things in a brighter light. I was making music. I was just trying to listen to new music. Like, I think it was very intertwined with music. Going to work sucked more than it already did. Working was horrible. Going to school, I viewed more as a challenge. I wanted to prove myself that I could be a smart stoner. So what it made me do is I had to, kind of try harder in school than I would usually, to kind of balance out the fact that I was smoking weed every single night and getting high out of my mind listening to music. Because early on, you don't think much of it, of how this could impact my mind in the long term. It's mostly, this is fucking amazing in the present level. And being present-minded is wonderful. Like, being mindful. And that's something that I am always striving to do with meditation, that I'm trying to do more of, because I realize how important it really is. Because, like, weed gives you the illusion of being present-minded. Like, being just engulfed in the moment. Like, the way I looked at it was, like, you're watching a YouTube video. Like, life is like you're watching a YouTube video. And then when you smoke weed, like, the aspect ratio changes. Like, the black bars pop up from the top and bottom, and then the filter gets all like dramatic, and like things feel more zoomed in, and it's like all of a sudden life is cinematic. Like, life is like a movie, but you're in it. Like, that is what getting high at first felt like. And it was just, it became just tolerating the everyday, to get back into looking at life like a movie. Because it's like, you just start to see the contrasts in life. You start to compare between your sober mindset and your high mindset. And then you become conscious of them both much more pronounced while you're sober and while you're high. So you're always living in this world of duality. Like, you're sober, but you could be high, and you could be feeling different. Like, even if you're not really feeling sad, like, I always told myself, like, I'm not sad. I just like being high. I like the feeling of it. It's magical. But, like, when you strip the lens of that narrative, you really see it more for what it is. And for me, what it is, on the level that I can understand it, is desperately attempting to run away from any feeling of uncomfortability in myself. And any of that uncomfortability is the result of traumas in my past, and as well as the pressures of the future. And when you live being chained down by the traumas of your past, as well as the pressures of your future, getting high just makes sense. On an objective level, like, to comfort your psyche. It makes sense. And it created this sense of distrust in myself that I never knew I could have. I never had before. I started questioning my own decisions of things. Like, am I making the right decision here? Is this the right... Should I be smoking and getting high right now? Should I be spending money on this video game right now? And this voice that's kind of like the reasonable voice in your mind normally. Like, for me, it accentuated into a hyper vigilant paranoia of, am I making the right decision? Am I making the right call? And living by that anxiety made things hell. Because then it led into self-hatred. Insidiously. While I thought I was loving myself. I'm gonna have to unpack that, but I have to piss really bad, so I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back from pissing. Anyways, I think I was talking about the anxiety and paranoia that creeps in from smoking weed. And yeah, I didn't really look at it as an anxiety or a paranoia. I think I just looked at it as, just me looking out for myself. And yeah, of course, it's a protective mechanism. Anxiety is a protective mechanism to watch out for you, to survive. But that's what I viewed it as. I just viewed it as like a positive thing, this addition of anxiety. But that was my experience, just smoking weed nearly daily, right from the get-go, and just falling into that addiction cycle. And it's really been, challenging but rewarding, really taking the time to recognize why I've been putting myself into that cycle from the get-go, and what I can do to improve my outlook and not be a victim of trauma that I didn't even know I had. That's been a very important step for me in my journey of self-improvement. And God, I don't want to just sound like a druggie here, but I think psilocybin has really helped me in that, in just recognizing these patterns. And if you don't know what psilocybin is, it's like mushrooms. I decided to embark on growing mushrooms earlier this year in January, just as a little, a project to do during the semester, to get through the semester, something to check on every day and just see the progress of, but also just doing a lot of research and seeing the benefits that it can have, and the benefits of neuroplasticity and helping with depression and anxiety. And I feel like I never wanted to come to terms with the fact that I had depression and anxiety, but I think mushrooms really helped me in coming to terms with the fact that I do have that, and that's okay, and I can do what I can to treat it and take it seriously and do the things I need to, just be the best person I can. And yeah, it's been a nice, rewarding. Oh, I gotta go to a Zara for this. What? Oh, Eastern Plaguelands. Okay. Yeah, I think that they have been super beneficial in my life and my perception of things and why I do things and where it stems from. Because it's helped me break things down on a more like patterned level, and that's a way my brain works very well. It's very analytical, but it's helped me in breaking things down, but also kind of surrendering to a more divine like spirituality that I never really had. I've always been like agnostic. I would never call myself an atheist because I can't outright deny the existence of a God. Like, it's not my place to do that. But I'm a lot more open to higher powers and spirituality. And it's really helped me in giving me more of a rewarding experience out of learning more. Especially like reading about philosophy and just about cultures and just seeing how things came to be. It's extremely interesting. Like, I feel like I've untapped this desire within myself to just read books more and kind of embrace my inner child and do things that I would have done as a kid just because, you know, it's something I just would have wanted to do, and not having to live within this frame of things having to be a certain way, or, you know, because it's all my own manifestations that lead to my own torment. But I'm probably gonna actually I'll make this video as long as I want to. I want to talk more about the struggles of quitting weed. This is gonna be like a very all-encompassing video, and that's fine. I don't really have any like limitations of what I'd like to talk about, and it's a judge-free zone. It's a judge-free channel. If you're still listening, what's up? You're awesome. You know, if you resonate with any of this, like, I'm right with you. It's a struggle. We got this. One thing that's been difficult for me was always, you know, maintaining relationships with friends and trying to be like social. It's always been easy for me to recluse because I've always been like a introvert, but I feel like smoking weed just made it even easier to be like that. Drink some water. Drink water. It's good for you. And all right, I'm on a flight path. I can just talk without thinking about the game. I lost my train of thought. That's so frustrating. I think I was really onto something too. I'll listen to this recording and circle back. Okay, after watching the last minute of the video of me fumbling and trying to reclaim my thoughts, so weed accentuated my own sense of introversion. It made it even more difficult for me to be more social and try to be a part of a community, because I feel like weed in and of itself, the addiction of it is very self-consuming, because it kind of puts you into your own head. For me, at least, over time. I think at first it made everything more open, and it made me want to like be a part of bigger things, and it made me like want to be more achieving, and like it really made my desires even better. But over time it started to dampen everything down, really, to the point where everything that I wanted to achieve was a little harder to do. It became just kind of like a regular thing to do, like smoking weed. Just like something I do at night. Like I never did it all like during the day or all day or anything. It was just at night. And like it dampened down my sense of like outreach, and the extroverted side of me was really hindered. Ugh, got a burp. And with that, it just made it overwhelmingly more difficult to be social and to reach out and hang out with friends and try to go to like events. Like I always be like, I'll just smoke some weed. I don't really want to. Like the voice that says I don't want to gets so much bigger. Like everything else feels like a drag. But I'm so glad that, you know, I'm able to recognize this only like a year and a half into smoking, and not like I'm already like 50. And there's nothing wrong with, you know, having these realizations when you're older, but just I'm glad that I have a lot of my life left. I'm 22, you know. I want to be present in my life, and I want to constantly be like changing and making improvements, and I don't want to be caught up in this weed-induced haze of everything's okay, you know, because it's not. And I'm on 2 weeks today, no weed, and you know, it hasn't been that difficult, because I feel like when you have a good path, like a good purpose of doing it, it's not very difficult. But I don't want to undermine the difficulty of quitting this habit, because it's had such a pull on my life. But I know that truly, in order to break down this habit, I really need to venture into my traumas and resolve them, and that will make the path a lot easier, because I won't subconsciously be smoking weed to diminish those traumas that I wasn't really aware of having, but always could feel it. And yeah, I want to just make this video and this new channel, I guess, as a testament to my own recovery from weed, and just an opening platform for like trauma and, you know, relationship trauma, you know, weed addiction, just various topics. I want to make videos just talking about life, just being philosophical. I think I never really got to do that on my last channel, because I felt like I had to be someone because my family was watching. That's no fun. I can't be myself. I don't want my little sister to watch like videos like this, so that's why I am gonna be making this channel just for that, you know. It's just my own line that I won't draw. But anyways, I thank you all for watching this incredibly long video if you're still here. Just thank you so much. If you enjoyed the video and you want to hear more of what I have to say, feel free to subscribe and like the video so more people can hear it, because I want to connect with people and like make more connections, even like online. Like I think it's important to have that sense of community, of just being brutally honest with ourselves and just trying to recognize our problems, and not in a condescending, harsh way to ourselves, but in a loving, kind way, to just be the best versions of ourselves that we can. So anyways, I hope you all have a beautiful rest of your day, just the best day that you can. I love you all very much, and I am sending you good vibes. Take care. Thank you.